Here we go. Okay, good. So um, this is something I just started doing, and it's basically a monthly forecast, or a monthly or timely kind of framing, looking at the time cycle and what's going on. I would say in the unseen world or in the cosmic frequency, or what are the energies actually kind of moving at this point in time. And December, actually, I called it actually do or die kind of months, because it's really just because it's the end of the year, but because it's actually a month that has the opportunity to form some sort of framework of where we want to go on an individual and collective level. So so this is like always like a quote that I always like from Ralph Waldo Emerson. It's like we all want to live lives that is made to make a difference, and you want to feel that you actually lived your life, and lived it well, not just kind of. I mean, happiness is a good bonus in the end of the day, but happiness is something you can choose as well. Um, just to start a little bit, November was a really challenging month, and especially it was challenging in the form of, um, I would say, forming a direction or forming a purpose. Let's put it this way. So if if you haven't formed um, if you haven't formed some sort of direction at this point in time, it's really good time to kind of form like what would you like to create in your life at this point in time, and kind of make a choice about it. On the I would say the personal level, November was very much moved by relationships. So if the relationship were not actually framed in the context of a bigger picture, it could have been very challenging time for relationships, November. Not just because it's a holiday time, just because of the cycle of this month. Just to give you a little bit context of the year itself, we are in a year that is kind of, it's a karmic year. When you look at the number 19, 19 is a karmic number. And what does it mean, a karmic number? Karmic number means it has a residue from past life. And it's like 2018 was somewhat was framed as the year of the woman, and 2019 is, you can frame it as the year of the masculine energy that has not been converted to or evolved to a different path, a different uh, way of being. What does it mean? It means that 19 as a karmic number has to do with leadership and being under authority power without any consent for authority. Means the karmic debt of authority, mainly male authority, has been examined and challenged this year more than ever. And um, and the challenge is within that is to overcome fear and personal struggle. Now, as we heading to December, so you can say the time is cyclical. It's you can have we could have a year of 18 months or 24 months by the cycle of the moon, or we could have had, but the cyclical part of time is originated by the fluctuation of darkness and light. And as we heading to winter solstice, which is the shortest time of the year, it's a time of actually internal time. And it's very interesting that within that internal time, December is ruled by the frequency or the number 12, which is very physical. It's a very physical number. 12 is the physical realm. 12 has to do with physical connection, has to do mainly with self expression, food, because 12, when it's reduced to one digit number, is a 3, or that's associated with creativity, self expression, food or cooking as a form of expression as well, but the aspect of nurturing. So when we heading to this 12 component, 12 spoke in the year, it has a significant number. 12 is a significant number, the 12 months, and it's always at the same time. There's no coincidence we're coming together, because 12 has to do with the archetype of the good shepherd. Now I put a slide that talks about significant numbers in the realm of looking at our experience and time through numbers. There's two things. One, there is a fluctuation or progression, cyclical progression of numbers. And then there are numbers that are what we call significant numbers. And they are very important as they appear in a monthly or yearly cycle. And 19 is a significant number, but 2019 as a whole had a significant number as a whole, which is 13. And we're going to talk a little bit more on the number 13 as we moving along here. So when it comes to significant numbers, we have on a yearly basis, it's the number 13 that is what we call in a monthly or yearly chart is in an asset position. So the power of words, the power of suggestion, the power of invocation or describing something has extra power in this time. So whatever you say to yourself, whatever actually reality you think, it will occur. And it can go either way. It can go in its, you can say, it can go in a positive or negative side of thing, because 13 is the power of the word. We're going to talk a little bit about it some more. So I'm just curious, how many of you actually in the last 2 months, and you can just type in within the chat box of this platform, how many of you in the last 2 months have felt that you need to actually kind of start to hone on something that is much more meaningful or can drive your life at this point in time? And I'm not talking about circumstance, I'm talking about like what really is important to me, because November really brought a lot of that aspect into play. So I'm just curious, how many of you actually thought, yeah, I need to kind of be more focused on what is really important to me? I would say that in November, some of us actually has been entertaining new relationships and have been questioned the relationship that we are in as well. So we're gonna, okay. So we're gonna, okay. So this is something just to kind of look at. So I would say one thing is like internal consciousness or internal purpose basically is what creates our reality. Our relationship need to align with what we create internally. If something else shows up, it means that internally something is not actually aligned with us. It's not like by choice. Now, December 2019 is what we call is a month that runs by a 4 vibration, 4 times cycle. I'm just going to go back actually to a slide about that part of it. So December overall is about structure and form. It's about so November was very impulsive months. We were actually at whim with our desires and dramas and impulsive choices. So December actually provide much more of a stable structure. So when we go to a time cycle, which is a cycle under the cycle of 4, as you can understand, everything is cyclical when it comes to time. Cycle of 4 means it's about structure, it's about work, it's about accountability and responsibility. It's about focus on the plan or what you want to create at this point in time. Give it a structure and accountability and responsibility. And it's putting some of the creative experiences or some of the experiences we had in previous months into some form and structure that we can actually start to build and construct and create around that a plan. So it is a time to be of service because 4 has to do with service. It's a time where whatever we will describe will have extra power because 4 is associated with words, is associated with the power of our word. It's associated with neutrality as well. So the challenge in December is to be structured, neutral, within sometimes challenging circumstances, and there are some challenging circumstances in December. We'll talk about them in a minute. But to bring a sense of neutrality within it is to understand that circumstances are not a personal thing. Circumstances are like the waves of the sea or like the weather report. So within that 4 cycle also, when we come to a work ethic, it means that we need to find a pace that is steady, because 4, that cycle, when it goes negative, it drives us to be lazy or to kind of basically kick back. So it's not time to kick back right now. It's time to actually have a plan and be consistent with it and be structured with it and notice the whim of the heart at time that wants to do other things. And I'm not saying that we can't do other things, but come back to the commitment that we have to get things done and to align our actions and responsibility with what we want to accomplish in life. This is the main vibration, you can say, of this month. Am I making sense? I just want some sort of feedback to you out there. So just, yes, you're making sense. No, you don't make sense. Can you explain more? Whatever it is, just type it down, please. Or if you want to use voice, please feel free to say, hey, why don't you, can you explain something else? Okay. So I get someone say, yes, you make sense. Okay. So within that, I want to move a little bit before I go to, um, oops, okay, I'm jumping ahead a little bit. So within the main, I would say the main energy, or the main, you can say the main color that colors December, there is an influencing number here as well. And the influencing number of December is 6. And 6 represent the third eye. It represents the point of being much more intuitive, the point of the importance this month to use your meditative mind more than your, I would say, reactive or mind. So much more kind of embrace the intuitive side versus just the senses or the reactive operating way that sometimes we do operate by. 6 represent the immune system. So we want actually this month to kind of boost our immune system a little bit more. It's also 6 has to do with home, has to do with family, has to do with the group, has to do with fairness and social justice. The archetype of 6 is a lot of time is the judge or a lawyer, but it also 6 is associated with if you were born on the 6 or the 6 months of the year, you have something to do with that sense of fairness, but you also have something to do with a sense of, I would say, beauty, details. So beauty is an important component this month as well. So, but when it comes to the group or family or others, is this month requires to be much more um, neutral, as well as much more, I would say, uh, real about it. When we're looking at a chart of a month, there's what we call a karmic base. There's a karma or cause and effect that kind of run that month or the time cycle. So we have December, which is the third month of current experience. We have our past life experience, which also ruled by 3, and that's equal to 6. So our base of karma is also ruled by that 6 number that has to do with home. So a lot of us will ask, is this social engagement or this social engagement, this family or this, is this home for me? It will bring up that question as well. So um, want to talk a little bit about what comes in the influencing 3 from past life. So from past life, this month has to do with the experience of nurturing a lot of people through many lifetimes, as well as bringing in, I would say, attracting people that needs our help or um, nurturing hand, so to speak. So that's in one hand. On the other hand, we will have experiences this month associated with um, the ability to master insecurities and a lack of confidence, especially when it comes to, I would say, um, creative expression, self-expression, and especially when it comes to social interaction. So if you find yourself kind of insecure in your social interaction this month, just do something good for yourself to kind of shift that sense of self. So also this month, on the karmic base of this month, we will have to need to learn how to take care of ourselves so we can actually have positive experience through December, as well as be able to actually attend to others that will need our support and help. But you need to kind of learn, like, what do I need to take care of myself right now so I can actually be available, so to speak. Okay. So we took care of the place of karma. Now, I talked in the beginning, this 4 this month is also comes from the number 13 this month. And when we have a 13 in a monthly or yearly chart, it means that there is something to significant. There's another layer of information, or there's another layer of content that we need to look at. So 13 this time around is 13 this time around is very interesting. It's the number 13 appears in this month in two places. One, in the area of how we make choices, our heart desire, and the other part is in a favorable asset position that is the capacity to create a desired reality through our projection and positive ability to form an idea and say, this shall happen, so to speak. So in the heart configuration, when we look at a chart, our heart configuration is how we make choices. So on the universal content that we all in, choices this month will be colored by that 13. Now, a little bit about the number itself. The number 13 is a Christic number. It has a double quality. In one hand, it can be deceptive and have a negativity component to it. Negativity can manifest in one hand like you haven't seen before, especially if some of us actually are more affected by our negative mind, means by our issues of trust or things like that. The negativity part will actually kick in to a different level. On the other hand, that 13 has the capacity to manifest anything that we form in the form of thoughts or words, or what we shall say, what will come out of our mouth, can manifest incredible reality. So one thing is really, it's not to be too concerned what you're going to say, what will come out of your mouth, especially in social situations, but it's really important to not to react to something that is being said or to a situation. Take a pause for a moment and then say something that actually bring that situation to a different reality, so to speak. That's one practical application of the 13 this month. Now, when it comes to the heart configuration, it will really affect how we make choices. So one thing that will balance that, and this is what we call an antidote to a challenge, is to take time alone, to actually have join other people that are seeking a direction right now, to either play or join live music that is uplifting. But it's really important to kind of have your own boundaries and container in place so we can actually be much more positive about anything that comes our way versus go immediately to the side, the lacking side of things, because it will show up a little bit more this month in December. Now, that 13 is coming to that 4. When it's reduced to a one-digit number, it's a 4. And that means it's like really make a point to put some sort of structure and a plan for the months to come. Really starting to actually look at like, okay, what is the plan for the upcoming months? What are my commitments for the next 6 months, the next year? So that's really important. The other thing is with taking time alone is also writing is really important with that, because words, when they're written, have much more of a meaning. So any sort of like in the heart configuration, any ideas of agreement or contract or things like that, especially legal agreement, we have that 6 this month, which has to do with the legal mind. So any agreements this month, even if they're like not legal by nature, better to write them down first and compare notes with other people. Write it down so you can actually kind of make sense for yourself and be clear for yourself and for others as well. I'm going to pause for a moment, and I'm just curious, is there any questions or ideas at this point in time that comes to you? Anything? What is this conversation bring for you? I'm just curious, is this information or the way I kind of represent it, is that helpful? Okay. Let's just kind of recap a little bit about it. The other 13 that is happening this month is in an asset position. So I want to talk a little bit about that. So an asset position means that if you do put your mind and plan into a positive place, a lot of things can happen for you individually and collectively. So there is like that part is also like it's an opportunity as well. Again, the remedy to solidify it is to create more boundaries and create time alone. The other thing is there's a lot of positivity, especially in social circumstances, that will show up this month. The thing is to weigh the pros and cons before you agree to something, is to be really real when it comes to 13, is to have like a double reality check when it comes to what you want to create for yourself, or how even how you judging other people's conversation. A lot of time people will say whatever they have to say, other people, or and we will react in a certain way that is not correlate with what has been said. So you want actually to be curious somewhat and even ask other people, is what you said means X, or I just probably didn't really get what you were trying to convey here. You want to be much more um, assertive when it comes to the reality that is going to show up in December, is showing up already. So, just to sum it up a little bit, um, the main thing this month is about putting your risk and creative initiative into structure, into a plan. It's taking time alone. It's to journal, be real of whom you invite to your space. Um, I said you don't need to take care of everyone. There's that good shepherd energy this month. Um, and it's a really great time to look at our goals and to be diligent about them, not to kind of kick back, but to really create a commitment and a structure around them that can deliver what you want to create in your life in the coming months. So it's when I said December do or die, it's really that. It's like this is the time to get things into a plan, into a structure. So opportunities are coming. They just need to have some sort of context to them. The other thing is weigh the pros and cons before committing to things and see what is real in your commitment and what is unreal in your commitment. Because when it comes to our creative mind, which is in the base, the karmic base of this month, we may actually take chances that are not real this month. So it's better to pause for a moment, see the pros and cons, and then decide how far do I want to commit, even to simple things, and how real it is. So we have like a couple more minutes, and I just want to open it up to other questions or other things that you want to look at in this last couple of minutes that we do have together. Um, I want to also invite you. There's a couple of things that I want to invite you. One is coming up is actually a certificate training for numerology. And if you have any questions about it, or if you want to inquire what does it mean, it's a 6 months program, and it's about to start February 6th. Um, and it's within it, we're going to actually look at how to configure, like for instance, how this 13 comes up. I mean, I see somebody ask me how the 13th are. Where is it in relation to December 2019? Well, this is not a numerology class right now. This is a forecast about the months. So if you are serious about actually looking at numerology as a component to create some sort of framework for understanding timing, understanding personalities, working with like this frequency or the unseen frequencies through numbers, then this is something for you. So you may want to look at that. So the other thing that comes up is this is something I do every year. It's the code of 2020, looking at timing, challenge and opportunity. It's a 2 hours that actually has a slew of a lot of information, how to use the numeric code and the frequency of the container that we all going to experience in 2020, and how to hold opportunity and challenges, archetypes, economics. 2020 has a lot also to do with physical circumstances. Um, so that's going to be like physically, it's going to be in Sebastopol, but there's also will be a shorter version available online as well. So, I guess there's not really any questions specifically about any other question about planning, about what you want to create in your life. Okay, if there's not no questions inside at this point in time, I hope you enjoy the little overview on December, which is the last gate of 2019. 2019 actually been, I would say, been quite a challenging year in general because we actually moved from um, a 9-year completion cycle, something that started in 2009, just has been completed in August of 2019. And within the last September, October, November, and December is like a short period of kind of a new 9-year cycle has been started. So this is why I absolutely urge everyone to actually have a plan at hand. Anyway, thank you so much for being on this call and making your time Sunday night to be on this call. And if you have other questions or any other question, you can always email me. I'm just gonna put my contact information in a second. You can always email me um, or schedule a call if you want to kind of look at your purpose as well. Um, you can always email me with questions. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you. Talk to you soon.